Let me go back to, you said something interesting about bilingualism. I think it's true that in Europe, many, many more people are bilingual than they are in the United States. Some people find it difficult to teach a child two languages at the same time. Did you have a particular method in doing that?
It's very difficult, and there are dangers to it. I received a letter from a teacher when Caroline was first born, and she gave me some very good advice. And she said a child can learn any number of languages as long as they associate a language with a person. And if one person tries to teach two languages to a child, it's lost. It's very bad. They confuse them. A child can have a problem with stuttering. And then, of course, I found that the dangers with bringing children up in two languages is that one often has there's the danger of having of missing things in both languages, you know, so it's hard to keep up. And then our children, of course, went to school in French. Their friends were French, and so then their English suffered a great deal. And I would try to then surround them with English-speaking people or have English-speaking friends here. I have always spoken English with them, but they speak French with each other and French with their father. So it makes, everyday life a little confusing at times. But
well, how did you learn French?
well, I learned French in school. I could read it and write it a bit when I was married, but of course I couldn't speak it or understand conversational French. And well, I just sort of learned by osmosis, I suppose. And then I would read a lot in French. And I found that reading plays in French helped me for dialogue. Because it's one thing reading prose, but it's not the way people speak. So I tried to read plays as much as possible.
I'd like to turn to you now, talk about you. What do you see as your future at this point? You're still a very young woman. You've got a fascinating past. Do you have any plans for the future? Are you thinking of doing things?
Oh, well, I've always got lots of plans and projects, and that's the trouble. I get involved in too many things, and there's never enough time for them all. But no, well, my youngest child now has just graduated from high school, and so this is another kind of turning point in our lives. I'm very involved in, as you know, many of the charitable and cultural aspects of the Principality and many projects here. I also have been involved in things outside of the Principality, such as the Irish-American Cultural Institute, the La Leche League that promotes breastfeeding for women. And I've been giving some poetry readings in the last few years, and I have plans to continue that.
What got you back into poetry reading? Because that's one of the more interesting activities you do now.
I was asked to participate in a program of American poetry for the in 1976 for the bicentennial, and there was a program that was going to be done. First of all, it was supposed to be done. Was initiated through the cultural attaché at the embassy in London, and then we gave the program at the Edinburgh Festival. And then after that, I was asked to join in others at Stratford and mainly in England. And then we'd done 2 tours in the United States at several of the universities. And so it's been very enjoyable. It doesn't take too much time, and it's something that I like doing very much.
Some people seem to feel that your poetry readings are kind of an advanced step to maybe going back to acting or going to the movies. Is that right?
I don't know. There's been a lot of, I'm very flattered that people think that I could still be in pictures. This is, 26 years later. It's a long time. And, but, acting is a very time-consuming profession. And to do it well, one has to do it completely. And it's a full-time job.
But with your children now pretty much growing up and about to leave the nest, you would have more time if you really did want to try that again.
I suppose it would it would mean a complete reorganization of my life, and it would be a very difficult decision to make.
Well, you're not saying that if somebody came along with that offer that you couldn't refuse, that you wouldn't say yes.
I have always tried to avoid saying never or always
Yeah, never.
in my life.
In a way, you've had two separate lives. I mean, you had your life as an actress, and now you've had your life here in Monaco. To what extent did your first life affect your second life?
Well, I think certainly my training as an actress has helped me enormously in what I've had to do here. One's whole education is called upon constantly, you know, as one goes through life. There's so many things that I'm grateful that I have studied, even though I never thought that it would ever come in handy, or certainly training for the theater and the discipline, I suppose, that one learns in the theater and in pictures has been extremely helpful to me.
But you maintain your interest in the theater through all this period of time.
Oh, certainly, certainly. I'm interested in all creative activity, you know.
And what about your links with people with whom you went through your career? I mean, have you maintained your links with people that directed you in pictures or acted in pictures with you?
Yes, definitely.
Any
many.
particular relationships that have survived these years?
Oh, yes. Well, there are quite a few friends from Hollywood. There are many who live here in Europe now that I see, and others that come and visit. Yes.
As you've watched the evolution of the world, and you have not only watched it, but you've traveled a lot in it over the last 25 years, do you have any thoughts on the evolution of social mores or standards of life over the last 25 years?
Yes, of course, we've seen so much change, haven't we? I regret seeing the breakdown of the family in many countries, and I think this is one of the big tragedies of our age, because it is the nucleus of society. Also, perhaps that things are more liberal, more open, freer today. In a way, one good side of it that I see is that people are able to discuss more openly things that used to be hidden with great pains in the past. And I think, well, growing up has never been easy, has it? But I think perhaps it's easier today because perhaps parents can speak more freely with their children on certain subjects which they never dared speak about before. And after all, bringing up our children, we want to help them as much as we can and try to guide them. And of course, my children think that I grew up in the Stone Age, as you know, all parents did. But still, we have been able to have a conversation, a dialogue, and a contact, and discuss most of the problems and most of the things that affect society today.